The Big Ten officially changed its policy that teams must play 6 games to be eligible for the conference championship game. We'll call it the Ohio State rule, who now faces Northwestern in the Big Ten championship on December 19th. The conference made the announcement Wednesday after voting to eliminate the minimum game requirement in collaboration with the Big Ten Council of Presidents and Chancellors. So here we are. We're a week before conference championship Saturday, December 19th. And I know people are sitting there looking at the playoff rankings right here and saying, well, wait a second, same as it ever was with the top 4. That is true for now. I'm going to walk you through a scenario where things could be very different. I'm going to give Alabama a win out, which means they will beat Florida in the SEC championship. I'm going to give Ohio State a win out, which means they will win the Big Ten championship. I am also going to give Notre Dame the win out over Clemson in the ACC championship. When I do that, watch what it does to the 4th-ranked team in the college football playoff. Alabama in, Ohio State in, Notre Dame in. Look who gets in this scenario. Jimbo Fisher and Texas A&M sitting at 5 would then project to get into the college football playoff. But don't sleep on Cincinnati. The math is close. If this scenario plays out, which is highly likely, you're looking at a race for 4 between Texas A&M and Cincinnati for that 4th and final playoff spot. So much to discuss over the next couple of weeks. We want to welcome in our ESPN college football reporter, Heather Dinich. And Heather, we had talked about this yesterday. The story started to bubble up about Ohio State still being able to play in the conference championship game. So walk us through the financial gains for conference if one of its teams makes it to the college football playoff.
Matt, so according to the CFP website, which the most recent data is a projection from last year, each conference will get $6 million per team that advances to a semifinal. So if the SEC, for example, had Florida and Alabama in, that conference would get an estimated $12 million. That was for last year. And then there's another base pot where they gave about $66 million to the Power 5 conferences to divide up, and then another $90 million to the Group of 5. This is all according to the CFP's website. Anyone can go check it out. $90 million to the Group of 5, plus about $2.4 million to travel to each game. So it's raining money, man. Raining money in the CFP.
And that sheds some perspective on the Big Ten's decision, because with all due respect to anyone else in the conference, if and when Ohio State makes the college football playoff, teams like Illinois at the bottom of the league financially stand to benefit. So that's something worth pointing out as we now get to the back half of what's going to be a compelling couple of weeks. And what are you hearing, Heather, from other conferences around the sport about how the Big Ten has really handled decisions, let's call it from August 11th to what we had yesterday?
Well, look, the Big Ten is always going to have some critics out there, given the public relations nightmare that we saw over the summer, right? But that being said, I think this particular moment, as many described it to me who are familiar or within that meeting, it was collaborative and it was productive. And Kevin Warren was in that call with the 14 athletic directors, and they're able to justify this very simply in that if Ohio State, even if they were able to play Michigan, win or lose that game, the Buckeyes would still be at the top of the Big Ten East Division standings, and regardless would play in the Big Ten championship game because of their head-to-head win against Indiana. So this wasn't a competitive argument or disagreement or really about the standings, because it played itself out because of that head-to-head win.
You know, and I always hear from the college football fans out there, well, what about the Pac-12? What about the Pac-12? Well, the fact of the matter is this: the Big Ten stands to have a college football playoff team at Ohio State representing their league. Pac-12 isn't even close to that conversation, at least wrapping up 2020.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.